Most horror games can be divided into two boxes, depending on whether or not the main character has a gun. The line of separation between survival and complete hopelessness is whether or not you have the luxury of checking for remaining bullets. Now, let's say we remove the expansive arsenal of Resident Evil or the arrays of melee weapons in Silent Hill. The games would quickly feel unsafe. Without a weapon, the zombies-infested police station of Resident Evil 2 turns into the dark and foreboding castle of Amnesia: The Dark Descent. It's a simple distinction. You either can shoot the monster, or you cannot. Fight or flight. It's what makes Amnesia: The Dark Descent feel so oppressing with its atmosphere. The overwhelming sense of total helplessness, where the only thing you can do, really, when encountering a monster is to hide. The Dark Descent will soon bring on what would be considered as the renaissance of hide-and-seek horror, by inspiring games such as Outlast or the beloved Alien Isolation. Amnesia: The Bunker dances on the thin thread that separates the two types of horror. It gave your character a gun. Trapped in a World War I bunker, for the first time in 13 years, an Amnesia protagonist is given a weapon to protect himself from whatever monster that lies within the shadows. A change that is so drastic it should have thrown the entire game into the other side of the horror game category. But Amnesia: The Bunker doesn't limit itself to one category. It subverts many of the horror game tropes. The gameplay is delicately designed to reach into the deepest part of your psyche in search for a unique kind of horror. The Bunker has mechanics. I know I sound like I'm stating the obvious, but it's what separates The Bunker from its prior entries. It's not a game of hide and seek. 90% of the game's playtime you are stuck in a hole in the ground, a bunker in the middle of a war zone, and you must do everything to survive and find a way out. The bunker is entirely open on the get-go, for the most part. Unlike previous games where you progress through each area linearly, the bunker presents itself more as if it were an open-world game. If you want to be more specific, the game would be more accurately described as a Metroidvania due to the nature of its gameplay. A lot of the time you spend in the bunker consists of going back and forth between each section of the map, whether it be retrieving items, solving puzzles, or going back to collect things you couldn't with your limited inventory space. The bunker is a more open-ended game compared to other Amnesia titles. The player's sense of agency and freedom is a top priority when it comes to exploration or discoveries, but this newfound freedom comes at the cost of having to deal with a relentless stalker. While previous Amnesia titles had scripted enemies encounters and specific types of behaviors for each part of the map, Amnesia: The Bunker went for a more immersion type of gameplay. The entirety of the bunker is open for you to explore, but with the cost of having a monster that can almost be anywhere at all time. The beast of the bunker travels through holes in the wall and he is alerted by loud noises. Things like cranking your wind-up flashlight or running means airdropping your exact location to the monster. The player's new sense of freedom is balanced out by the fear of knowing that the beast can be anywhere, and especially the fear of not knowing where he is. Make too much noise, and once again you'll have to find somewhere to hide, just like you did in Amnesia: The Dark Descent or any other horror games with no guns. But of course you would ask, why would we hide from the monster if you have a gun? A means to protect yourself? Well, of course, it can't be that easy. Here's where the versatility of your weapon becomes a bane of your existence. The option to just shoot the beast to make it go away is tempting. It's a simple thing to do, really. Pull the trigger and watch as the beast weeps and runs back into its hole. But in doing so, you are basically giving up the choice to open another door. The gun in Amnesia: The Bunker acts less like a weapon and more like a tool. Secondary to being able to shoot the beast, you can also shoot locks with the gun. Unlike in Resident Evil or Silent Hill, the act of opening a door is not a separate challenge. To shoot the beast means you are actively burning bridges behind you as you walk forward. Each bullet you dump into the monster is another door locked off for a very long time. But also, each door you blow up is another bullet that could have saved you from an unlucky encounter with the beast. It makes pulling the trigger feels weighty, You pull the gun back, check the cylinder, and slowly reload each bullet. The act of merely reloading a gun is the same as throwing a grenade in other games. As each bullet falls into the chamber, you are reminded of the decisions you'll have to make in the near future. And, if it weren't already stressful enough, you also have to account for the bunker's light. The bunker has light. Of course, it would be cruel for soldiers to walk around holding lanterns in the midst of a war, so of course, the bunker has lights. But the worst part about having lights in the bunker is knowing that it's limited. The lights in the bunkers are entirely powered by a generator that requires fuel to keep going. Once the generator is empty, the entire bunker goes dark. Each patrol tank only lasts about 5 minutes, so you have to be quick and decisive, because once the lights are out, it's game for the beast. In the darkness of the bunker, your only permanent option of light source is from your wind-up flashlight, which generates a faint light that has to be cranked every few seconds or so. Each tug on the flashlight cord creates a winding noise that eventually alerts the beast. It becomes even more persistent in the dark. Choosing to leave the lights on at all times means slowly watching your timer ticks down until you're completely out of fuel. Unlike the Dark Descent or A Machine for Pigs, or Soma, the act of waiting or hiding in a closet is excruciating. You can feel the time ticking. You know that in a few more minutes, if you don't make it back to the safe room in time, you will have to traverse in the dark. Oh yeah, speaking of which, the safe room. In Amnesia the Bunker, your entire progress is saved on one lantern. With only one save point the entire game that is located in the generator room. Each trip deeper into the bunker feels like a race against time itself. Running back and forth means wasting fuel and drawing attention to yourself. But the bunker is deep, with each area descending even lower into the ground. It's almost as if you're walking down to your own grave. Going too deep in the bunker means having to deal with the risk of dying in an encounter with the beast and losing everything. Or even worse, having to return to the safe room with no light. It puts even more pressure on the players to make decisions as quick as they could, because at any moment the fuel could run out and you'll have to grope your way through the dark to make it back to the safe room. I've seen a lot of people describe the bunker as what it feels like to turn off the lights downstairs and run to your bedroom. You turn off the lights and you run, because either nothing is there, or something is. The game perfectly captured that feeling of being stalked. The bunker's story and settings are not unique. I won't dive too deep into it, but here's the basic synopsis. You are a French soldier in World War I, Henry Coman, who, after being attacked by the Germans while saving your best friend and fellow soldier Augustine Lambert from a pit, wakes up in an underground bunker with not a single soul in sight. With no recollection of how you got there, you find another soldier who informs you that the bunker has been blown shut by fleeing officers, and that you need to find a bomb and a detonator to blow it back open. The injured soldier begs you to end his misery, but before you could, the only other living human being is dragged into the hole behind him by the beast that hides within the bunker's walls. For the rest of the game, you are stuck in an underground bunker with limited resources and light, trying to find a way to escape this hellhole while war is still waging above. Throughout the game, you would hear sounds and see rubbles and explosions from above the bunker, of what presumably still is World War I. Many times in the game you will see sunlights, a way you can escape if you just wiggle through a little bit. Until, of course, you remember that we are at war. We're trying to escape a hellhole in the middle of another hellhole. The setting is already poignant. This is a perfect place and time for a horror game to take place. The war combined with whatever horror is happening in the bunker. But the true horror of the bunker does not lie within its stories or its setting. Instead, it lies with the game's ability to make choices seem scary. Every decision you make in the bunker will one way or another come back to bite you in the ass later on in the game. The aforementioned problem of the versatility of your revolver or the fact that the entire bunker runs on fuel, there is no way you could go through the entire game without somewhat setting your tail on fire. It imposes decision paralysis on the player, but it feels as if each option they choose will eventually blow up in their face. There is no safest way or most optimal way to play the game. Your choices will have a domino-like chain reaction, no matter what you choose to do. Amnesia the Bunker is not a horror game about being chased. It's not a horror game about hiding or a horror game where you shoot the monster to make it go away. It's a horror game about choices. And choices are scary, man. Thanks for watching.